The Wolves volleyball team has gotten off to a great start. Our cameras were there for the latest match. Wolves field hockey standout Emma Westbrook joins us in the studio. And more than 100 Newberry College student athletes were inducted into the Academic Honor Society. We'll have that story, all this and more, coming up on Wolves Weekly. From the Langford Center studios at Newberry College, I'm Tucker Moore.
And I'm Courtney Belton. Welcome back to Wolves Weekly. The Wolves volleyball team entered this week's play with an impressive 5-3 overall record, looking for their first conference win. The Emory and Henry Wops were their latest opponent in the Eleazer Arena, and our Wolves Weekly team was there to bring you the highlights. On Friday, September 26th, the Newberry College women's volleyball team faced off against Emory and Henry at 6 p.m. Newberry's team showcased strong teamwork and strategy while dominating the game and winning with a final score of 3-0. Here's some action from our Wolves. The Wolves controlled the match from start to finish, with the team achieving 41 kills and 9 service aces. Leading the way, hitter Samantha Schaefer racked up 10 kills and added 3 blocks. Madison Watson chipped in 7 kills, while Anna Schneider posted 7 kills, 3 aces, and 11 digs. The first match ended with a score of 25-12, with Newberry taking the lead. After an unfortunate loss from the last week's game, the Wolves came back with vengeance. Each Wolf, determined to score for the next play, used their strengths and their techniques to continue to win the game. Emory and Henry responded with resilience, challenging Newberry's lead in the second match. Both teams played well and held the score close, but the Wolves pushed through and won the second match with a final score of 26-24. Setter Annie Dill led the offense with 19 assists and 11 digs, while Giovanna added 14 assists and 2 aces. Libero Haley Clearworth set the tone for the back row with 13 digs and 3 service aces. The Wolves came back for the third match with determination, finishing with a score of 25-10. Offense wasn't the only thing the Wolves excelled in. Defensively, the Wolves protected the goal, hustled for all free balls, and worked hard in every play. Each play brought the Wolves closer to securing their win for 3-0 of the night. After displays of athleticism and courage, the Wolves sent the Wasps into a frenzy. By the Wolves displaying strong uses of technique, skill, and determination, they were able to pull it together. The Wolves came back for the third match with strength, finishing with a score of 25-10. The team worked together to outdig the Wasps 53-36 and finalized the game, winning all 3 matches. The Wolves volleyball team is on fire this year. This win brings the Wolves' overall record to 6-3 and 1-2 in the South Atlantic Conference play.
And Courtney, what a great bounce-back win that was for the ladies out there. After a tough loss to Coker last week, you know, they had to get their get together, and they came out, played really good, clean team ball. They swept them 3-0. What stood out to you? What is this team showing us that they haven't showed us before?
I mean, honestly, I think it was the offense this season for the Wolves. I mean, continuously you have standout players, you know, that continue to have the digs and the kills and things for that. It's not just often, positions like libero or things like that, but it's also middle people, things that kind of help people coach the moments through like they said last week, commitment is like their number one target this season. We can obviously see that this week with how strong the Wolves are coming out. So I think that's kind of what's fueling their fire this season, if you kind of agree with that.
Yeah, and like our guest last week, Kate Gross, came in and talked about that cohesion and that they have a lot of leadership. You can clearly see that on the court, and we hope to just continue to see them improve and keep going great. So Wolves Weekly will continue in a moment.
For decades, I've taught you everything I know. How to safely build a fire, and how to control the flames. But I can only teach wildfire prevention. Only you can prevent wildfires.
Hello, welcome back to Wolves Weekly. I'm DeAndre Coleman. Joining me today in the studio from the Wolves field hockey team is Emma Westbrook. Hey Emma, how you doing?
Good, how are you? Thank you for having me.
Yes, good. Congrats on the win this Saturday.
Thank you.
Tell me, how are you guys able to just be so successful this year?
I think we definitely have a different group compared to last year. But I think, at the beginning of the season, we kind of set out certain goals and areas of success that we'd like to have. I think one of them was, preseason and really creating like a team bond and everything. And then also going to Pennsylvania. Of course, we faced off against 2 top 10 teams. I think we knew it was going to be challenging, but we really focused in practice and film. And I think, we just have a good bond. And I think all of us go the extra effort and, work the extra mile. I don't know. I think we just have like a good group of girls.
I hear you broke a Newberry field hockey record. Tell me a little bit about that. How does that feel to you?
I think it's really great. I'm always the first person to say that I really couldn't have done it without my team. I think, to score a goal, it takes a lot of effort from everyone. It has to start from the defense and work its way out to the offense. So I think I've just had that support, especially from my coaching staff and my teammates for the past 4 years to help me achieve this goal. So I just think it's a team effort. And of course, it was great to do it in front of my parents in Pennsylvania.
Now, being a leader, how is that role playing a part on taking part in a successful team?
I think being a leader is definitely tough. Sometimes you have to say things that you don't want to say, but luckily our team is pretty great, so we don't really have to have that conversation a lot. I think it's just knowing that you're not always right and that there's always room for improvement. You could be the best player on the team, but there's always times where you might not know something that someone else on your team does. So I think it's just to be very open-minded. If your coach tells you something, to be very coachable. If your teammates have recommendations, definitely take it into account because everybody has a different view, and I think everyone's view is definitely important in team success.
Now, touching on some of those team goals and team success, what was some of those goals that you guys had planned out this year?
We definitely want to win the SAC conference, and then we hope to make our first appearance in the Division II tournament. I think it is a great goal to have. Obviously, there's multiple smaller goals that you have to have that lead up to the big goals. Obviously, as I said previously, we really separated the season into bits and pieces. One of our biggest things is mental toughness, and I think our strength and conditioning coach, Alex, he preaches it a ton. Coach Dave preaches it a ton. I think it's just something that, everyone's always going to have highs and lows in the season, and it's really sticking together as a team to get through those lows.
Now, having a former teammate as a coach, tell me a little bit about that. How's that relationship with you guys?
I definitely think it's a great idea. Obviously, I'm biased. She's one of my best friends. But I think, on the field, I played with her for 3 years because she's a year older than me. She was already a great leader on the field, so naturally, I think a coaching position suits her very well. I think she's done a really good job of, separating like coaching from friendship. If I do something wrong, like she won't waste a second to call me out on it because she knows at the end of the day, it makes me a better player. I think she's done really well so far, and she's definitely helped the team. And I think it's a great outlook being fresh out of, being a student athlete. And it's just a different perspective that really does help our team.
Now, speaking of some of those gel, like how are you guys gelling? Like how are you all 6-0, 2-0 in the conference? What's giving you guys that fire?
I think we were lucky enough to have a lot of our returners come back this year. We definitely have like a great group of girls, and I just think, we do a lot of team bonding exercises and everything outside of that, but I just think we really love each other, and we just have the same goal.
What's it like being a leader on this strong winning program?
I think it's great. I think it's really good for Newberry. I know Newberry is looked at as like an undermined school sometimes just because it's all the way down here, especially in Division II field hockey. We're the only conference down in the South. So I think it gives us just really good recognition.
What does it mean to you to have this achievement that you've achieved?
I think it was one of my many goals that I had set up for myself. I think once I knew all that I could accomplish in my sophomore season especially, I just set the bar a lot higher. And I've always grown up, knowing how to put everything together. So I think I just want to thank my parents and my team and everybody that's helped me this much and come this far.
Well, thank you for coming down to the studio, Emma. We're glad to have you.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Wolves Weekly will be right back after the break.
How do you know when you've made the right decision? It's the feeling you get in your gut. The one that tells you what's right or wrong. It's the one that says, sure, I can have a drink. Or the feeling that says, okay, I've been drinking. Now what? It's the voice inside you that says, I'm buzzed. Better leave the car when it's time to go. Plan ahead. Catch a sober ride. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome back to Wolves Weekly. I'm Courtney Belton. As we all know, athletes who attend college to play their sport are not just athletes, they are also students. And getting good grades in order to play their sport is of paramount importance. This past week, more than 100 student athletes at Newberry College were inducted into Chi Alpha Sigma, the National Student Athlete Honor Society. Our team has the story.
On September 23, 2025, at 7 p.m., Newberry celebrated its second class being inducted into Chi Alpha Sigma, a National College Athlete Honor Society with nearly 100 scholar athletes being inducted. Sports include acrobatics and tumbling, baseball, cheer, dance, field hockey, football, golf, men's and women's basketball, men's and women's lacrosse, men's and women's soccer, softball, tennis, track and field, triathlon, volleyball, and lastly, men's and women's wrestling. Chi Alpha Sigma, founded in 1996 by Nick Maruzzi's, recognizes undergrad college student athletes who participated in a sport at the varsity intercollegiate level, achieve junior academic standing or higher after their fourth full-time semester, and earn a 3.5 and higher cumulative grade point average.
And last, we have Natalie Westbrook.
I think that me wanting to pursue a future in medicine really pushed me both ways because I've been injured multiple times. So that made me want to achieve on the field. And then academically, just keeping my grades super high to get into med school for sure.
Remembering my goals. That was a really big thing for me because growing up, my dad always told me to set goals to achieve them, right? And if you're not shooting for the stars, you're not going to make it, you know?
I would say the people around me, my family and my friends, the people I really lean on, I want to make them proud. I would also say my faith, being a Christian athlete, that's something that really pushed me. And yeah, I would just say having goals for myself and wanting to achieve those really pushed me.
Next up, we have Tyson Bell.
These athletes dedicated countless hours to both the classroom and in athletic competition to represent their college with pride. They are recognized more than just their athletic ability, but also for their commitment, discipline, and leadership in their studies. These skills that they developed will further support them in their future careers and goals.
Definitely time management and organization, because as you go into be a surgeon, you have to have good time management. As you're studying for cases, you have to have really good organization.
I see the people skills and time management skills carrying over very well, especially because I plan to have a family someday. So managing all that on top of work and all that fun stuff will be pretty beneficial having this experience.
In the nursing field, teamwork is a big thing. I'm going to be working with a lot of new people, and I'd say just being personable. I'm going to be dealing with people who are going through really good times in their life or really bad times in their life. So I was just saying teamwork and, you know, reading people and being personable each and every day.
Each of these students has made a lasting impact on their program, inspiring teammates, coaches, and the entire college community. This honor symbolizes not only what they've accomplished so far, but also the impact they will continue to make in the future. Congratulations. Maddie Schiffbauer, NCTV.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies. Food can open endless possibilities for people to thrive. Because when people are fed, futures are nourished. Everyone deserves to live a full life. And with your help, together we can end hunger. Join the movement at feedingamerica.org/actnow.
Welcome back to Wolves Weekly. Now let's get to the scoreboard and get you caught up with all the action that took place over the past week. The Wolves football team walked away with the Bishop's Trophy after a dramatic 20-17 victory over Lenoir-Rhyne. Burke Nettles was the hero, drilling a 27-yard field goal as time expired to seal the win. The Wolves are now 3-1 overall and 2-1 in South Atlantic Conference play. With just 2 minutes and 30 seconds left, Newberry's defense made a game-saving stop. Jamar Blandon tripping up Bears quarterback Kamani Robinson just a half-inch short of a first down on 4th and 2. Quarterback Reed Sharpia then took charge, leading an 8-play, 66-yard drive to set up the game winner. Sharpia went 4 for 4 on that drive, connecting on key passes to tight end Grady Leapart and wideout Keith Desashore. And Wolves Weekly's own DeAndre Coleman, who hauled in a 25-yard strike to set up Nettles' game-winning kick. Sharpia finished the night 17 of 30 for 199 yards and 2 touchdowns, while also adding 61 yards on the ground rushing. Quez Spells led the ground game with 67 yards, including a 52-yard burst that set up an earlier field goal. Desashore advanced the game with 7 catches, 74 yards, and 2 scores, bringing his season total to 5 touchdowns. Coleman added 4 catches and 72 yards. Defensively, Deveron Williams returned to the lineup and led the team with 8 tackles. Jaden Kynard added 7 tackles and a fumble recovery, while Blandon was disruptive all night with 3 quarterback pressures. The Wolves defense forced 2 third-quarter turnovers to keep momentum on their side. The Wolves now return home this weekend to take on tough SAC opponent Wingate University.
Newberry Field Hockey continued their undefeated tenure with a thrilling 2-1 overtime victory over Lander on Saturday afternoon at Frank Hill Stadium. After a scoreless first half, the Wolves struck first in the third quarter when Vivian Dahman converted off an assist from Parker Keeler at the 36-28 mark. Lander responded quickly, finding the equalizer just 3 minutes later to tie the match 1-1 heading into the final frame. Both sides battled through the physical fourth quarter, with neither team able to break the deadlock and forcing overtime. In the extra period, Newberry applied heavy pressure, earning multiple penalty corners. Then, Parker Keeler delivered the go-ahead to seal the deal for the Wolves. Newberry outshot Lander 13-10. The win pushes Newberry 6-0 overall and 2-0 in the conference, while Lander falls 2-1. The Wolves will continue their road trip with a matchup against Wingate this week.
The Newberry College women's soccer team took its first defeat on Saturday evening, dropping a 2-1 decision to Carson Newman in South Atlantic Conference play at Smith Road Complex. Carson Newman opened the scoring in the 11th minute, but the Wolves responded 12 minutes later when Molly Courtley tied the match 1-1. The game remained even until the 75th minute when the Eagles netted a game winner. With the loss, Newberry moves to 5-1-1 overall and 1-1 in SAC play, snapping both their unbeaten streak and shutout streak, but remaining in strong position early in the conference standings. The Wolves face Lenore Ryan in their next match on the road October 4th at 7 p.m.
Staying with soccer, the men's team suffered their first loss of the season Saturday, also falling 2-1 to Carson Newman in the South Atlantic Conference play at the Smith Road Complex. The Eagles wasted no time, scoring just 88 seconds into the match. But Newberry battled back, applying heavy pressure and outshooting Carson Newman 19-15 on the afternoon. Goalkeeper Charlie Clark kept the Wolves in it, recording 7 saves, 5 of those in the first half alone. Carson Newman extended the lead in the 85th minute, but Newberry refused to go quietly. Braden Martinez found the back of the net on the 88th minute for the first goal of the year. The Wolves had an opportunity moments later, but a penalty kick in the 86th minute was stopped by the Eagles keeper, sealing the 2-1 final. With the loss, Newberry drops 4-1-1 overall and 1-1-1 in the SAC play. Still one of the best program's best starts in recent memory.
Last week, South Carolina Army National Guard Players of the Week are junior field hockey midfielder Peyton Keeler and men's soccer junior defender Caden Rodriguez. Keeler helped her team defeat 2 top 10 ranked opponents last week, number 6 Mansfield and number 4 Westchester. She also scored the winning goal against Mansfield, and she is tied for the team leading goals and is second in points and assists for the Wolves. Meanwhile, Rodriguez came off the bench to score the game-winning goal as Newberry defeated Tusculum in the key conference matchup. It was his first career goal with the Wolves and helped the team stay undefeated at the time. This has been the best start for the program since 2003.
And as always, don't forget that you can find the latest on Newberry College athletics at newberrywolves.com. You can find all the headlines, see the statistics, learn how the teams are getting ready for the next game, see the latest schedule, and get your official Wolves merchandise. All this and more is available anytime you want it and anywhere you are at newberrywolves.com. And now, let's take a look at the week ahead for the upcoming games for your Newberry Wolves. And that's all for this edition of Wolves Weekly. I'm Courtney Belton.
And I'm Tucker Moore. Join us next time for more Wolves Weekly.